So how did Rhonda come about training him?
It's sort of a long story. Rhonda was, I met her sort of at Flemington ages ago at apprentice school, and she didn't finish her apprenticeship due to unfortunate circumstances, and sort of harder to get a go as a female in the 90s. So she was focused on training and was riding the picnics. And then later on, she was riding track work at Flemington and still training a few horses of her own. And I was just saying, you should try and get your licence back. Girls get more of a go now. You don't have to be as strong a whip rider and all that. So we tried it for a few years in Victoria to try and get an apprenticeship back. But they want the younger people coming through. So I did half my apprenticeship in Victoria and the rest in Tasmania with Gary White. And I knew girls get more of a go down there. It's a bit more laid back. And fortunate, one of my friends was down there working for Scott and David Brunton, where this horse was as a 2-year-old, actually, at the time. And they were looking for riders, and I sort of asked, did they want to put an apprentice on as well? Could be a good asset. And so she finished her apprenticeship off down there, and she was actually riding this horse as a 2-year-old for Scott and David Brunton. Anyway, it was a funny horse back then. He was a bit spooky, so not many people liked riding him. She got along with him pretty good though, so that was good. And she finished her apprenticeship off over there. It's sort of, once you out of your claim, it's sort of harder to get rides. It's pretty competitive down in Tasmania, the few riders and the horses down there. So we went back to Melbourne for a while, and Rhonda got a dual licence there for training and being a jockey still. So she could train a few horses for our parents and that. They sort of picked a few horses out to help her out and got her going a bit. And also to be able to ride, it was sort of handy extra income and that to look after the horses and to keep them going. But Rick Polly rang her up and asked her one day about this horse that Scott and David Brunton didn't think he was doing as good as what he could be, and was thinking of retiring him. And Rhonda did say that she thought, from riding him, thought that he's got something there if they persist. And fortunately they did, and Scott and David Brunton managed to get a Hobart and Launceston Cup in the same year out of him.
Fabulous.
So he done that, and they tried the going over to South Australia, the Adelaide Cup, and so he's been on the boat before then and travelled him over. So he went over there for that. I think he ran about 8th around there. So he goes over distance. So he went over there and done that, but probably had a little bit of a setback during that preparation. He had injured his pedal bone. They found that he had just chipped a little bit of the tip of his pedal bone off. So wasn't sure whether he'd be racing again after that. So he started racing. The owners, looked after him, put him out in the paddock. Had a heart bar shoe put on him and sole pack. Gave him the time out at their property out at Sorrel, where they got paddocks and grass, and got their brood mares and young up-and-coming babies coming through. And was looking for a trainer just to train all their horses. And thought of us. We were still in Melbourne at the time, riding track work at Flemington. Thought of Rhonda because she had ridden him before, and because she had a training licence as well. So we moved over there, and you've got about 10 horses with him. Just a couple of our parents' horses still down there. And like I said, she rode him as a 2-year-old and liked him back then. He's doing well. He's come up and being in the yard. He's eating well. He's drinking well. He's enjoying it. I think he's glad to get away from the cool weather in Tasmania. He hasn't had a rug on since he's been here, but down there, all 4 seasons in one day, you're changing rugs 3 or 4 times a day.